two all-powerful beings, one good and the other not so much. In one corner, you've got DC Comics' good old Kryptonian fighter Superman, a powerful being who stands honorably for all things good. He fights for truth, delivers on his commitment to justice, and seeks for his people the same promise made to the American people, that of freedom. In the other corner, you've got the boys' antagonist, who, if you have seen the show, you would know doesn't share any of those core values that Superman has. Though you could probably guess that Homelander was based around Superman just by a simple look at the character's costume and powers, it should be noted that his character is a bit more of a satirical take on the cape-wearing crime fighter of DC. For one, he plays an antagonist in the show he's in, which should give it away pretty clearly. At a glance, they would seem pretty evenly matched, considering one is literally based on the other, and because their skill sets of unique powers and abilities also line up pretty well. However, after a deep delve, would that still be the case? Let us find out if the big bad bully of the Seven can give the DC's frontman a run for his money. Let's start off with the obvious. Both of these characters have, to a great extent, the same powers and abilities with a few minor discrepancies. Since judging both of them on power scale would be difficult and inconclusive, let's take a more practical approach and analyze psyches, because that is where the major difference between the two arises. Homelander is Vought's biggest asset. He is not only the poster boy for the company, but the greatest and most powerful of the Supes. This, in a way, puts insurmountable pressure on his shoulders to live up to his public image and be the face of all that American people hold to be dear. But that is Homelander just keeping up public appearances. Homelander was genetically enhanced and developed in a lab, and as such, he never really got the parental love that a child needs to become an emotionally stable individual. His unprecedented power, coupled with his apathy for humans, makes him very volatile and very unpredictable. This became very clear in the third season of The Boys when he made a pipe bomb speech on live television. But that's not it. During the season, we see him fall deeper into resentment, and his mental health progressively deteriorates. While he still craves the love and affection of the people, he doesn't make it a priority. He even told Starlight that he has absolutely nothing to lose. His questionable morality makes him unpredictable, a man who is ready to pull all the stops. Now, let's see how well DC's symbol of hope measures up. Clark Kent, unlike Homelander, was raised by human parents that taught him virtue. He was taught from a young age that he was endowed with special powers and abilities that he would have to use to help the people of the world. And eventually, that paved the way for him to become Superman. Now, unlike Homelander, Superman has no regard for his public image, nor is he the utility of a superhero company with a capitalistic agenda. With that being said, he is as altruistic as a hero can get. He has no need for his day job as a journalist for the Daily Planet, except to hide himself in plain sight and to get to understand the political underbelly of Metropolis. Superman has a strong moral principle that forces him to put humans first. He is a utilitarian that will save as many people as he can because for him, that is the supreme good. Now, while this is noble, it is something that can be exploited very easily when someone discovers it. In a battle of ideology, when the rebel without a cause and the liberator go toe-to-toe, it is quite easily a win for Homelander. The Super's utter disdain for humans makes him less likely to steer off his agenda, while Superman will always prioritize the lives of the people. Both of these men are nearly invincible. However, it is important to note the use of the word nearly. It has practically become mainstream now to use the word kryptonite to describe any fatal weakness in a person. The use of this terminology finds all its lineage in the canon that has been built for Superman. Since his conception in the comic books back in the 1930s, he has continued to grow valiant and stronger, with his powers going up a path of never-ending astonishing feats. With each comic book iteration and on-screen appearance delivering something astoundingly more jaw-dropping and awe-inspiring to the one prior. Notwithstanding any of the greatness he has accomplished, there has always been one secret weapon that could be used to take down the godly man, and that is kryptonite. Kryptonite works to weaken and eventually kill off the main man himself by interfering with the way that his body absorbs solar radiation, and also messing about with the way his cells would go about metabolizing the radiation. Aside from a green rock with magical powers, there is another vulnerability shown to the fans of the superhero in the form of Lois Lane. Lois is his love interest and a key figure in his life, often keeping him together at times of hardship. Her emotional support helps keep Superman in check and ensures he doesn't go off the rails, as otherwise he wouldn't be any better than a Homelander is. The death of Lois is shown to have such an impact on the invincible superhero that he lets go of his morals and attempts to attack the White House, who he holds responsible for her death, much in the same way as Homelander had done in the comics, albeit Homelander had only done it to signify his dominance over all others. So the Man of Steel can be beat. But what about the Man of No Regards? Much like Superman had a soft spot for Lois Lane, we see a similar bond shared between Homelander and Ryan, the Mad Snape's biological son. The father-son bond they share are the few glimpses we get to see of Homelander's humanity. The parallel scenes shared between their bonds, such as the emotional reliance and the overprotectiveness, prove both Lois and Ryan to be a bit of a weakness to the two godly powered men. Homelander's biggest weakness, however, is himself. He is constantly seen fighting an internal battle with his shattered mental state. Full to the brim with insecurities and a need for approval and love make Homelander very easy to manipulate and to instill self-doubt within the man. Playing a few cards right could easily break down Homelander from the inside, but it is important to remember that it is a thin rope to walk, as this also makes him very unstable and highly unpredictable, and thus, one wrong move could lead to a nuke being set off or an entire city being flattened. When pitted against each other, the two would have no problem going toe-to-toe with the other, as their strength, speed, and agility are pretty well matched. Their other powers, including invincibility and laser eyes, are pretty on par with each other as well. What would set them apart in a fight would be Homelander's immediate attack on Lois without a second thought, whilst Superman would find himself more hesitant to go after a kid. In spite of this, the battle wouldn't exactly end at the death of a loved one. Superman would still be going at it, even more amped up and unhinged by the death of his lover. At the end of the battle, we are more likely to see the Man of Steel come out on top over his parody. Whilst it is true Homelander could use kryptonite to weaken Superman, he still wouldn't be able to kill him, as the Man of Steel has countless years of experience in battle compared to Homelander. Superman has fought and won against other godly beings who are as powerful as him, if not more powerful, and has still managed to come out on top. The most Homelander has had to deal with is super terrorists, which he would simply laser in half. The lack of fighting experience severely puts Homelander at a disadvantage in battle, and directly in this one against Superman. Even with a bag of kryptonite, Superman's parody would be unable to take on the real thing. So there you are, guys. I hope this video offers some good insight. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.